It was a humid July evening, the kind where the air clings to your skin like a second shirt. I was at the local gas station, just trying to fill up my old pickup before heading home to my wife, Tanya, and our two kids, Jamal and Lila. I'm a black man, a community organizer working with the city's youth programs, always preaching resilience and accountability to the kids I mentor. That night, I was bone-tired from a long day of grant meetings, but the neon glow of the gas station promised a quick stop. Little did I know, a simple transaction would ignite a firestorm, exposing a racist clerk, a crooked security guard, and a secret that would shake our small town to its core. I swiped my card at the pump, the machine beeping as gas flowed. Across the lot, a flashy red Mustang pulled up, blaring music. Out stepped a woman mid-40s, red hair pulled tight, face set in a scowl. This was Brenda. She stormed into the convenience store, her voice carrying even through the glass. "You're overcharging me," she yelled at the clerk, a young black woman named Keisha. I ignored it, focusing on my pump, but Brenda's tirade grew louder. "You people always mess this up," she snapped, the words slicing through the humid air. My head snapped up. "You people." I'd heard it before, but it never lost its sting. Keisha, barely 20, kept her cool, explaining a receipt calmly, but Brenda wasn't having it. She slammed her fist on the counter, demanding the manager. I finished pumping and headed inside to grab a soda for Tanya. The tension was palpable. Brenda's eyes locked on me as I entered, her scowl deepening. "Oh, great. Another one," she muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear. My blood simmered, but I stayed calm, grabbing a Coke from the cooler. That's when the security guard, a burly guy named Vince in a faux cop uniform, badge glinting, stepped in. "Ma'am, is there a problem?" he asked Brenda, his tone deferential. She pointed at Keisha. "She's stealing from me, and I bet he's in on it," she said, jabbing a finger at me. I froze, soda in hand. "Excuse me," I said, voice steady but sharp. "I'm just buying a drink." Vince turned, his hand resting on his baton. "Sir, I need you to step outside," he said, eyes hard. The accusation was absurd, but the crowd, mostly white, murmuring, watched like I was the threat. I set the soda down, my training kicking in. I'd dealt with bias before, taught kids how to navigate it. "I'm not going anywhere," I said, locking eyes with Vince. "You're escalating this based on her lies." Brenda shrieked, "He's threatening me." Keisha, still behind the counter, looked terrified but spoke up. "He didn't do anything, ma'am. You're the one yelling." Vince ignored her, stepping closer to me. "ID now," he demanded, his tone mimicking a cop's authority. I knew he wasn't police, just a rent-a-cop with an ego. "You're not law enforcement," I said, my voice low. "You don't get to demand my ID." The crowd's murmurs grew, phones out, recording. Brenda's accusations escalated, her voice dripping with venom. "You people always cause trouble," she spat, doubling down. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and held it up. "Say that again," I said, my tone ice cold. "Let everyone hear it." Vince's face twitched, but he doubled down, grabbing his radio like he was calling backup. That's when I noticed his badge wasn't standard. It had a private security logo, but the way he carried himself screamed ex-cop. I'd seen it before. Guys who couldn't hack real police work, but loved the power. "You're making a scene," he growled. "Leave, or I'll make you." I stood my ground. "You're harassing a paying customer based on her racist lies," I said, loud enough for the crowd. "This is on video." The standoff broke when a kid, maybe 16, lanky, with Brenda's red hair, burst through the door. "Mom, stop," he yelled, his face flushed with embarrassment. This was Tyler. "He didn't do anything. You're always doing this." Brenda spun on him, furious. "Tyler, shut up and get back to the car." But Tyler didn't budge. His eyes met mine, desperate, like he was carrying a weight too heavy for his years. "She's lying," he said, voice cracking. "And Vince, he's not just a guard. He's been taking money from the store." The air froze. Keisha gasped, her eyes wide. Brenda's face went white, but Vince's reaction was telling. His hand dropped from his radio, sweat beading on his brow. I kept recording, my heart racing. "What do you mean, kid?" I asked, keeping my voice calm. Tyler hesitated, then blurted, "He schemes cash from the register. I saw him. He gives mom free stuff to keep her quiet." Brenda lunged at Tyler, but I stepped between them. "Back off," I said, my voice a warning. Vince, panicking, tried to grab Tyler's arm, but the kid yanked away. "I have texts," Tyler said, pulling out his phone. He bragged about it to his buddy. The crowd was buzzing now, phones capturing every second. Keisha, emboldened, spoke up. "I've seen money missing too," but the manager wouldn't listen. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called the real police. 2 officers arrived, a young woman and an older man, their faces stern as they took in the scene. Vince tried to spin a story, claiming I was causing a disturbance, but I held up my phone. "This is all recorded," I said. "This guard's harassing me based on her false, racist accusations. And her son just exposed a theft scheme." I handed over my community organizer ID, not DOJ, but enough to show I wasn't just some troublemaker. The older officer's eyes narrowed at Vince's fake badge. "You're not PD," he said, turning to Tyler. "What's this about texts?" Tyler, trembling but resolute, showed his phone messages from Vince boasting about skimming cash and bribing Brenda with free gas. The officers detained Vince and Brenda, the crowd cheering as they were cuffed. Tyler was shaken, but I put a hand on his shoulder. "You did good, kid," I said. He nodded, tears in his eyes. Back home, I filed a formal complaint with the police in the gas station's corporate office, sharing the video. Tanya, furious but proud, helped me draft a statement for the local news. The story exploded. Brenda's racism and Vince's theft became a viral scandal. My video, combined with Tyler's texts and Keisha's testimony, led to Vince's arrest for theft and Brenda's for filing a false report. But Tyler's confession hinted at more. His texts mentioned Vince's boss, a manager involved in a larger kickback scheme targeting low-income customers with overcharges. I worked with the police and corporate investigators, uncovering a racket where the manager, Greg, and Vince inflated prices, pocketed cash, and silenced complainers like Brenda with perks. Tyler's evidence was key, revealing months of texts and even a hidden ledger Greg kept. The police raided the station, arresting Greg and exposing a network fleecing the community. The fallout was seismic. Local news ran exposés, and the community rallied, demanding accountability. Keisha, promoted to assistant manager, became a local hero, while Tyler, placed with a supportive aunt, started therapy to cope with his mother's toxicity. But weeks later, a chilling package arrived at our doorstep, a gas station keychain with a note. "Tyler's not the only one who knows." My stomach dropped. Someone else was out there, tied to the scheme, watching us. I beefed up our home security and alerted the police, but the sender stayed a ghost. The fight wasn't over, but I wasn't backing down. Tanya and I kept mentoring kids like Jamal and Lila, teaching them to stand tall. The gas station, now under new management, gave us free coffee every visit, a small nod to our stand. I donated to a youth fund in Brenda's name, turning her hate into hope. From a soda purchase to dismantling a corrupt racket, this fight proved one thing. Even a spark at a gas pump can ignite justice.